Jerry, I'm glad that this is our, in one way, I'm glad that this is our last game. I guess I'm sad, first of all, it's our last game, but I'd hate to see what Sandy came up with next if we had to play another one. So, fortunately for me, it is our last game of the year.
That's right, it is our last game of the year. We know that for a fact. And, you know, you talked about you want to win that last one. Well, this is the last one, and the Massena Red Raiders want to win it. And they want to win it big time.
They want to win it big time. They've put on quite a performance this year. We've seen them really look superior around a good number of years. Good to friend of Dick Johnson from Massena, but I think Johnny O is going to have his hands full today. And he's used to skating short staff. They have a short bench on this club. They've done it for years, but I think they're going to have just going to be insurmountable for them here this afternoon.
Right now, the introductions of the starting lineup for the Suffern Mounties. We're going to see Robert Sarabona in the nets, and that's a name that goes back with Suffern hockey. I remember doing games against Suffern years ago where they had a Sarabona on the team.
You know, the Mounties, some similar opponents that fans could relate to. They're coming in today's game with a 20-3 record. That's nothing to, you know, to be slighted on. 3 games that they lost. They lost to Auburn 4-2 and Rome 4-2. They also lost to Albany Academy. So they're a good club. There's no question. They knocked off an outstanding Seton Catholic club here yesterday. So that shows you that they can play hockey. But I just feel that the last couple games, the last couple weeks, the Massena club have just risen to another plateau, if that was possible. And they're just playing with such convictions. They believe in themselves so much, and playing as a team concept that I just think that it's going to be an awful tough task for this Suffern club to
if Massena can stay focused and continue to play the way they have. All right, we are going to have the national anthem, I believe.
Rendition of the national anthem, but it was on tape, and I would have suggested the young man we have right behind us, sitting Danny Rayom, could have gone down there and given him a mic, and we would have had a live rendition. But we're just moments away, and there's a big contingent here from Massena directly below us, across the way. On the west side is the fans from Suffern, and they're dressed in the Suffern club, wearing their road blue, powder blue shirts with white trim, black pants and white trim, blue and white socks with black helmets, and across the way the signs "Go Suffern, Go Blue," all decked out, and a lot of balloons over there. And that's one thing the maintenance people here are going to have to get down after this state championship. There's a lot of balloons up in the rafters.
John Chapman is the centerman for this first Suffern line. Chapman centering Robert Stevens and John Doyle. Massena will come out with a Jake Morris line, Chris Cameron and Sebastian Bergeron. On defense, Adam Gordon and Paul Goldstein. And we understand Gordon is going to play most of the game, from what we're told. Just 3 defensemen. Off the face-off, the puck dumped in the Massena zone. Delay offsides, right back and it comes. Poke checked away by Bergeron. It comes to Aaron Barkley. Barkley rounds the boards to Chris Cameron. Cameron moves it ahead to Jake Morris, goes by him. Deep in the Suffern zone. They wave the icing. Yes, they wave it off. And the puck rounds the boards to Chris Cameron in the corner for Massena. Cameron in behind the net, taken out of the play, goes to Bergeron. The Morris in front, shot, save, and the puck comes back to the point. At Labarge, he flips it in behind. Bergeron can't get a handle on it, and finally it's picked up by Doyle, and he moves it out to center ice. Doyle dumps it. Todd Hayes stops it, and he's going to cover up and hold on for the face-off. So Massena with a golden opportunity in the first minute of play, and good save by Sarabona.
Talk about vacating the ranch. I'll tell you, one defenseman in the center tried to take Chris Cameron out of the play. The other, he threw it around the boards. The other defenseman went to Sebastian Bergeron. That left no one in front except Jake Morris, and Sebastian threw it right out in front, and only a great save by Sarabona prevented the Raiders from being up 1-0.
Chili's line out there for Massena. Puck in the corner. Picked up by Brian Levac. Headman pass. Eddie Davis. He pokes it ahead for Chile a little bit too far. Whitcup knocks it down and runs into Eddie Davis. And he kind of had the puck in his hand. I think he'll be called for a hand pass. And the faceoff will be right there just outside the Mountie zone. We've played 9 seconds shy of a minute in the first period of this New York State Division I championship. There's no score on the Peach Jewelers scoreboard.
Bobby's had some hard checks, but that one by his own teammate was the hardest this year.
Whitcup backhands it in the corner. In after it is Gordon. Gordon, the big defenseman for Suffern, moves it off the boards out to center ice. Brian Levac slides it ahead for Eddie Davis. Davis to Whitcup. Bobby takes it in, right in front, gets a shot off. It goes off the defenseman's leg in the corner. Bouncing back to the blue line and out to center ice. Whitcup chasing it down. Here's Bobby with it. Turns it around. Moves for Chilton. Chilton can't catch up with it. It comes to John Chapman, and Chapman flips it in the Massena zone. And we have a whistle.
Delayed offside,
Yep.
I do think, Jerry. And the official just Brian Levac and number 6 for the Mounties, Tom Lochberg, kind of saying sweet nothings to each other. So he's keeping an eye on them, but I think that was just the arm up for the delayed offside. I think the Mounties will kind of play it close to the vest here in this early going, just trying to play good defensive hockey and try to catch a break.
Steed's line out there now against the Trevor Cameron line. Trevor out with Freddie Kellison and Adam Morris. Off the face-off, it bounces to Cameron. Here comes Trevor, trying to get it across the blue line, get knocked down. It comes out to center ice to Adam Morris. Adam dumps it in the corner, goes in after it, picked up on the defense by Gordon. He rounds the boards, comes back to the blue line, and Aldis, yeah, he does keep it in. Trevor Cameron, here's Cameron. He goes to Morris, to Kellison in front. Shot, save, no, it goes in the net. Sarabona made the save, but it bounced over his shoulder into the net. And Massena has scored their first goal early in the game. The Raiders lead it 1-0. Freddie Kellison lights the lamp.
And you know what happens, what's happened so many times when the Raiders score that first goal. Just a poor clearing effort by the Mounties. A great job by Chris Aldis to keep it in the zone. He just dumped it forward, and that left 2 Raiders in there all alone. And Adam Morris slid it over to Freddie Kellison, who walked right in on Robert Serbona and fired one high to the right-hand side, the stick side. Serbona got his shoulder on it, got a piece of it. It rolled up and down his backside and just over the line. The Raiders up 1-0.
In behind the net now. It's picked up on the defense by Goldstein, knocked away by Bergeron. He tries to flip it back to the blue line. It's intercepted, and back comes Robert Stevens. He dumps it, and that puck goes bouncing into the corner. Aldis flips it ahead, has it knocked away. Stevens in behind, looks to wrap it around, can't get the shot out. Takes it way back by the blue line, slides it, it's intercepted. Aldis moves it ahead for Bergeron. Sebastian bounces it to Jason Labarge. Here's Labarge across the red line, across the blue line. Labarge just banks it into the corner. In after it is Bergeron. Getting there first is Goldstein. Moving it to the blue line, kept in at the point momentarily. Now comes back out, back in again. Massena were offsides, they had to wait. And now it comes back the other way. Into the Massena zone, here's a shot way wide. Comes to Bergeron. He bangs it ahead to center ice, dumped right back in, and it hit the official. And it's picked up there by Jason Labarge. Labarge has it knocked away by Robert Stevens. He bangs it off the glass in the corner. Bergeron. Bergeron can't clear the zone. Bounces away. Comes to the side of the net. The shot. Hayes makes the save. Puck in behind now. Bouncing in the slot to the blue line and out to center ice as Goldstein couldn't keep it in. Massena a little bit sloppy in their own end that time. Todd Hayes stops it behind the net. Leaves it for Chris Aldis. Aldis moves it down ice. Here's Aldis. His headman pass comes out to center ice, and he gets it right back again. Aldis takes it across, trying to center it to Eddie Davis out by the blue line, back to Aldis. Aldis flips it right across the open goal mouth, and that almost went in. Now it's Aaron Barkley cranking it in behind to Bobby Whitcup. Whitcup trying to shovel it in front. It comes to Anthony Taylor. He looks to clear the zone and dumps it down the ice. That'll be an icing call against Suffern, and the faceoff will move back inside their territory. 11:23 left in the first period of this New York State Division I championship game. The Massena Red Raiders lead it 1-0 on the Peach Jewelers scoreboard.
Big line for the Mounties. John Chapman, John Doyle, and Robert Stevens. And Chapman and Stevens worked a give and go on the right side to the left of Todd Hayes. But again, Todd not moving off that post, taking away the short side. Chapman had nowhere to go with it.
Face off right side. Chili's line out there. It flips up into the banner up above the goal as trying to get the shot off was Bobby Whitcup, and we'll do it again.
This line coming off yesterday's performance, 3 goals and 4 assists. That Chilton line, Chile had 2 and 1, and Bobby Whitcup 3 assists. Eddie Davis, a big goal. So a lot of production out of this line
off
yesterday.
The face-off. Puck in the corner, picked up by Chapman. He dumps it to center ice. Todd Collins dumps it right back in the zone. Massena clears. Broken stick on the ice. Stevens trying to clear it out to center ice. He dumps it, and that's going to go all the way down the ice. And another icing call against Suffern. You're going to see this a lot, I think, Dave. A lot of dumping and a lot of slow play by Suffern. They want to try to slow down this very powerful Massena offense.
We mentioned the Suffern Mounties, a short bench. We're looking down. They haven't got too many numbers on there, and he only plays basically 2 lines, and he goes with 3 defensemen, Goldstein, Chapman, and Gordon double shift. So a slow game, slow-paced game, definitely to Suffern's advantage.
Out there to take the face-off, Steets. Steets will be out there with Greg Gordon and Robert Murphy. This is their third line against the Massena third line. Off the face-off, Trevor Cameron centers it, and it goes into the corner. Cameron gets tied up. Adam Morris trying to skate out of the corner with it. Has it knocked away, stays with it. Morris jamming for it. And finally, it's picked up by Gordon. He moves it ahead, not out. Kept in by T. Cameron. Goes in behind the net. Back there after it is Robert Stevens. Stevens has it knocked away. Freddie Kellison. Kellison short side shot, and that's wide. Puck over on the other side. Back to the point. Here's the drive and the save made by Sarabona. Puck bounces to Kellison. Freddie. Short side right in front. Deflected just wide by Trevor Cameron. Great chance there, and Cameron just deflected it wide. It's underneath and behind the net. And the whistle blows, and we'll have a face-off inside the Suffern zone. And boy, I'll tell you, what a mismatch. Massena's third line against Suffern's third line.
John Orlando can't wait to make that change. He was praying, give me a whistle, give me a whistle. He wanted to get a shift off there. And he also had Robert Stevens, I think, plays a little bit on both of those first and third units. So Mounties kind of break, all kinds of pressure. And as you mentioned, a big mismatch when you got the Trevor Cameron line against the Ron Steets line.
Jake Morris will take the face-off now, outside. Comes to Barkley, and Barkley just dumps it in the Suffern zone. Back after it is Adam Gordon. Gordon starts out left side. Bangs it off the boards. Comes to Jason LaBarge. LaBarge drops over to Barkley. Barkley moves it to Jake. Morris with a puck now to LaBarge. Jason across the blue line, cranks it up. Glove save, and a nice one by Sarabona. He leaves it in behind. Around the boards it comes. Jake steals it in the circle. Center, Cameron, he drives right in front, and Sebastian missed the open net. In the corner, it comes to Jake. He lost his edge, and the Mounties break out of the zone. Here comes Robert Stevens across the Massena blue line. The shot, and Hayes makes the save and covers up for the face-off.
Oh, boy. Giveaway in the Mountie end. Chris Cameron parked right out in front, just a little to the right of Robert Sarabona. Came right out to him, and he wound up and fanned on the shot. He got a little piece of it and dribbled right out to the left of Sarabona. Sebastian Bergeron parked there, had the wide open net, and he drifted it wide. He put it between Sarabona and the net to the far side. He won't get an easier chance than that to put the Raiders up 2-0.
Lofberg's line out there. Dan White and Anthony Taylor are the wings, and it'll be the Chilton line for Massena. Raiders lead it 1-0. 9:43 left in the first period. Face off to the right in the Massena zone. Off the draw. Back to the point. Here's the drive. Deflected right on. No, it's in the net. It went right through Todd Hayes' legs into the net. It was deflected, and the Mounties have tied it up at 1.
Right off the draw, the Mounties won the face-off cleanly. Right back to Robert Gordon on the point. And he had a low shot. Didn't have a lot on it. Number 7, John Chapman, won the draw. But it was deflected. It hit something on the way through and just changed directions enough. And it went right between Todd Hayes' legs, right through the 5-hole. And the Mounties have tied it up here with 9:39 left in the first period.
Off the face-off. Brian Levac with it. Over to Todd Collins. Collins headman bounces into the Mountie zone. Stevens trying to clear. He's got Whitcup on him. Whitcup goes to Chilton. Chilton gets tied up trying to go back to Whitcup. And Whitcup takes the puck in the corner. He gets tied up. Goes to Chilton behind the net. Chili can't control it. It bounces to the side. Gordon picking it up there. Here's Gordon now coming out right side. Bangs it off the glass all the way down the ice to the Massena line where Todd Collins picks it up and flips to Brian Levac. Here's Levac to Davis. Davis directs it in the zone. It's cleared into the corner. Whitcup after it. He gets hauled down. There's going to be a penalty on Suffern. And the whistle blows as the Mounties touch it. And Bobby Whitcup drew that penalty, and the Massena Red Raider power play is going to come out.
Again, the time of that goal, the 5:21, Adam Gordon, and I called the wrong center. It wasn't Johnny Chapman. It was Tom Lofberg who won the draw. Beat the Raider center cleanly. Right back to Gordon, and he fired from the left point, and it hit something going through. It hit, I'm not sure whose stick it hit. Changed directions just a little bit, but that's all it takes to throw a goaltender off, and it went right between the legs of Todd Hayes.
Face off right side in the Suffern zone. Massena on the power play. Jake wins the draw, goes to Bergeron. Bergeron back to the point, back to Bergeron. Sebastian with it, in behind to Chris Cameron. Cameron Moves it along the boards for Jake Morris. Jake at the 45. Back to Barkley at the point. Here's Aaron with a puck. Winds up, fakes the shot. Goes over, across, and it comes out to center ice. Aldis. Now he has to come back after it as he hit the player with his pass. And now Massena has to regroup with a minute left in the power play. They go to Chris Cameron. Cameron, headman. Bergeron, or Aldis rather. Aldis in the corner. Cameron to Morris. His shot, and the save is made, or perhaps it hit the defenseman. And the Mounties clear it down the ice. To the side of the net, Aaron Barkley after it. Barkley picks up the loose puck and feeds Jake. Jake starts out of his own end. Morris with the puck now. Into the Suffern zone. Here's Morris. Stick handling through. He has it knocked off his stick. Bergeron pokes it to Morris. Morris goes to Cameron. Cameron at the 45 comes out in front. Here's Chris with it, circling back by the blue line, looking to set it up. Goes to Morris deep in the corner. Back to Cameron. Chris having a problem with it, stays with it. Here's Cameron to Jake. Jake moves it back to the point to Barkley. Aaron with a puck to Cameron, to Morris. Morris to Cameron in front. He gets a shot off, and it hits the side of the net. Here's Cameron. Over to Bergeron. They'll try the right side. Bergeron, stick handles out in front. Goes to Jake. Morris with it. Bangs it into the corner. Bergeron picking up the loose puck penalty. Bergeron in front. His shot knocked down, and the Mounties clear it to center ice. And Massena controlled the puck a lot, but really didn't get too many good opportunities on that power play. Puck bouncing to center ice. Bergeron feeding Trevor Cameron. Here's Cameron across the blue line. Gets knocked down. The puck comes free. Gordon picking it up. Bangs it to center ice. Adam Morris throws a check. The puck comes to Levac. He feeds Kellison. Freddie across to Morris, and offsides as Cameron had gotten knocked down in the zone. He was trying to get out of the zone, and he hurt his ankle, I believe, as he comes off the ice.
Jerry, businessmen get frequent flyer points from certain airlines. You know, the more you fly, the more points. I'll tell you, if they allowed frequent flyer points for minutes on the ice, what we saw yesterday, number 18, Adam Gordon, what we've seen here in this first period, I don't think he's been off the ice. He'd have a free trip around the world a couple times. Sees a lot of ice time out there. He's a pretty good defenseman, big fella. And also on that, just the long and the short of it, number 17, Danny White, did an excellent job penalty killing out there at the top of that 1-1-2 penalty killing unit that Suffern used. And he's the short of it. He's probably about 5'7".
7:05 left in the first period. New York State Division I championship game. We're tied at 1. Massena and Suffern, they're making some ice repairs in front of the Suffern net. And that's what the holdup is right now.
Had some problems with the Zamboni in the first game, and between when they were doing the ice between games here, it stalled a few times. So
Chilton's line out now for the Massena Red Raiders. Chilton against Chapman off the faceoff. Levac, he dumps it in the Suffern zone. Comes in behind the net. Kellison goes after it. Poked by Gordon into the corner. Hard check thrown there as Dan White moves it out to center ice. And the Mounties just dump it in the Massena zone. In behind the net, it's Jason Labarge trying to come up with it. Along the boards, Freddie Kellison in there helping out. They jam for it, and Kellison comes away with it. Headman to Morris. Morris to Chilton. Chilton now just dumps it in the zone. After it is Gordon. Chilton throws him into the boards. Comes up with a puck momentarily. And it's in the corner to the blue line. Kept in by Brian Levac. He fakes the shot. Goes by the defenseman. Can't get it off. And Suffern's going to come back with a 3-on-2, but they can't get it off. And Levac comes back and helps out. Right back in the zone is Adam Morris. Morris gets by the defense momentarily, but the puck poke checked away. Chili with it. Back to Levac at the point. He pokes it in the zone. Dumped right back out to center ice. And coming up with it is Kellison. Freddie now. Ahead to Adam Morris. Morris leaves it for Brian Levac, and Levac dumps it in the Suffern zone. After it there is Eddie Davis. Davis steering it in behind. Racing for it is Paul Goldstein to the blue line and out to center ice. Bobby Whitcup. Whitcup with the puck now. We got Trevor Cameron back out there, which is good news. Whitcup across the blue line, pokes it into the circle. Bouncing puck comes back to Whitcup. Whitcup can't control it. Finally, it's picked up by Chapman. He moves it out to center ice. Trevor Cameron right back the other way to Whitcup. Whitcup across the blue line, trying to go back to Cameron. Cameron can't come up with it. It's back out to center ice, and Whitcup again comes up with it. Bobby Whitcup. Stick handles ahead, slides it free. It comes to Goldstein, and he dumps it in the Massena zone. Around the boards it comes to Eddie Davis. Davis, headman to Trevor Cameron. Cameron feeding Whitcup. Whitcup winds his shot, hit the goalpost. Bobby had the goalie beat, but he hit the goalpost, and the puck bounces free to Davis. Davis trying to come up with it. Trevor Cameron back at the blue line, and Cameron skates out of the pack. He fakes the shot, slides it. Nice save by Sarabona on the pad. Puck along the boards, and it's not out of there, kept in by Collins. Collins flips it in behind the net. Here's Bobby Whitcup. Whitcup moving it right in front, and it goes bouncing back to the blue line and out to center ice. And finally, it's just flipped in the Massena zone. They got a man in front, and the puck knocked away by Jason LaBarge. He bangs it back into the Suffern zone. Back after it there is Gordon. Still 1-1 tie here with 4.5 left in the first period. Aaron Barkley. Barkley, long headman pass. He's got Chris Cameron. Cameron busts in front, the backhander, and it's blocked by the defenseman. Comes to Jake Morris. Morris tied up in the corner by John Chapman, and Suffern's going to ice the puck. And the faceoff will come back in the Mountie zone. Massena exerting some pressure here, but it's still 1-1 with 4:19 left in the first period on the Peach Jewelers scoreboard.
Bobby Whitcup, a 55-footer, beat Sarabona cleanly, but those old goalposts came into play again, hit it squarely. Back the other end, Todd Collins put a lick on Craig Gordon. I'll tell you, Craig Gordon caught the pass and looked down at his feet, and when he did, Todd Collins laid a lick on him and dropped him. Oh, he's still looking for that truck.
Faceoff goes in the corner. Bergeron after it, gets a stick on it, knocked away, comes to Jake. Jake gets tied up, comes to Chris Cameron, his shot, and a save made by Sarabona. Now the puck bounces to the blue line and out to center ice. Picked up there by Robert Stevens into the Massena zone, and his shot's deflected up into the stands behind the net, and we'll have a face-off. 4:01 left first period, and on the Peach Jewelers scoreboard, we're tied at 1.
We mentioned Adam Gordon getting a lot of ice time. Number 12, Robert Stevens. You'll hear Jerry call his name a lot because Coach Johnny Orlando is double shifting him. He's playing on the first and third units. So number 12 will be a focal point of the game today.
Off the face-off. Puck controlled by the Raiders. Aaron Barkley in behind his own net. Starts out right side. Headman pass. Hits Jake. Goes off his skate into the Suffern zone. Bounce back to the Massena line. Moving it ahead was Aaron Barkley, or Bergeron rather, but he got tied up, and back the other way comes John Chapman. Across the Massena line, still stick handling it. He centers it. Bergeron to Jake. Jake breaks. Here's Jake to Chris Cameron. Cameron across the blue line, shifts by right side, centering pass to Jake, and he couldn't fire on it. The puck comes back to the blue line. Deflected right on, the save made, and Jake Morris coming after it, trying to flip it in the corner for Cameron. Chris coming out of the corner has it knocked away. Back to the blue line, kept in by LaBarge. It comes to Cameron. Cameron flips it to Bergeron. Bergeron, stick handling through the middle, takes it right in front. Here's Bergeron, backhander is blocked by the defense. And here comes Suffern out of the zone. Into the Massena zone, they misfire on it. It's poked into the corner, and Aaron Barkley comes up with it in behind and leaves it for Brian Levac, throwing a check. Here comes Levac, headman for Cameron. Trevor takes it across, knocked off the puck. Following it up is Adam Morris. Morris in the corner, back to the point. Levac shot is blocked, comes way out to center ice. Todd Collins lifts it high in the air, and it bounces into the corner where it's picked up by John Chapman. Chapman now trying to move it out of the zone, and he moves it ahead. They got a man breaking in the zone. Here's the shot. Hayes makes a save. He dropped it in behind him, and Aldis comes up with a big play to keep it out of the net. Kellison out of the zone now for Massena. Kellison's pass goes off Trevor Cameron's leg and bounces back out. No, it doesn't come out. Kellison steps by the defense, centers it. It comes back to the point off a stick and is kept in by Collins. In behind the net, Trevor Cameron bounces it back to Aldis. He cranks it up. There's a penalty on Suffern, and the whistle sounds as, I'll tell you, Todd Hayes was legging it for the bench, but he didn't get there in time as Suffern touched it.
The penalty is going to go against, I'm sure, John Sarabona, Sarabona, I should say, the Suffern goaltender. We'll wait and see. The Raider player went through the crease, and Sarabona just cleaned him out. But great save, great shot down here by Danny White, that little water bug we talked about, breaking down the left side, and he scorched one, and it was a riser. Todd Hayes took it high up on the shoulder, rolled up over and down the back side, and fortunately, number 7, Chris Aldis, was cruising in between. I'm not sure if it had enough momentum to cross the line or not, but it got in behind Todd Hayes. It's only it seems like a matter of time. We can almost feel the Raiders are pressing, and Suffern is backing in more. I think you'll see Massena use those points a little bit more now.
Off the face-off, Massena on the power play, had the puck stolen away. Here's a shot from the blue line, high over the net in the Massena zone. Aldis Flipping it for Bergeron. Bergeron loses it in front of the net. And it comes to Hayes, and I guess he's going to tie it up and cover it up as Aldis tried to come up with a puck, and neither could find the handle. And Todd says, well, let's get a whistle here.
Again, that's communication, and you want to really take a definite stance. Todd's got to say, okay, if we're going to smother, I'm going to flop my glove on it right here. He started to, pulled it off. Chris Aldis says, are you going to take it? Do you want me to take it? And that's just mass confusion. You got to take charge in that situation.
Robert Stevens out to take the face-off against Jake. Jake wins the draw. Back to Aaron Barkley. Barkley goes to Bergeron. Bergeron to Aldis. Aldis starts back to Bergeron. Sebastian to Cameron. Cameron has it go off his stick, stays with it in the corner. Chris Cameron, where is it? He finds it. Goes to Jake at the 45. Back to Barkley at the point. Fakes the shot. Goes to Jake Morris. Morris to Cameron. Cameron wraparound shot. The save made by Sarabona.
This time on the last power play, Jake and Chris got, Jake likes to work high and Chris Cameron likes to work low, and that's their favorite spot. And they got switched around. You can't always, dictate where you're going to be. This time, Chris made sure when they set up inside that he got down low, left to Sarabona, his favorite spot, and almost popped one there.
Off the face-off. It comes to Barkley. Winds it. The shot, the save, bounces into the corner. Picked up by Gordon. Chris Cameron ties him up. The puck's still free. Bergeron trying to jam it out of there. It's kicked free by Cameron. Here's Cameron to Jake. Jake has it poked away, and it's dumped down the ice by the Mounties. We're into the final minute of the first period, still tied at 1. Here's Aaron Barkley. Barkley's head man to Cameron. Cameron takes it across and drops it for Jake Morris. Morris into the corner. Here's Jake with it. Crossing it to Bergeron. Bergeron working deep. Bergeron gets by the check, looks to center, and it comes in behind. He says, where is it? Stevens wraps it around the boards. Chris Aldis. Aldis flips it back in for Bergeron. To Cameron, back to Bergeron. Penalty up. Back to Cameron. Big Chris trying to wrap it around, and it hits the side of the net. Gordon is there. Gordon moves it. It comes free to Jake. Jake centers it right in front. It bounces back to the blue line. Aldis cranks it up. It's blocked. Comes to Barkley. His shot partially blocked, and the Mounties move it out to center ice. Aldis is there to flip it ahead, back in the zone. 10 seconds left in the first period, and it's dumped right on Hayes from length of the ice. The puck comes in the corner, picked up by Brian Levac, and that'll take care of the first period. So we got a tie after 1 period of play. Massena and Suffern are tied at 1.
Got an excellent job by Robert Sarabona and company killing that penalty along big number 18, Adam Gordon. I don't think he came off that ice in that first 15 minutes, and he is a dominating figure. Students 9 through 12, and the Raiders coming in. They have an enrollment of 957, so pretty equal in size there. But Raiders hitting the ice first. And the Massena contingent, the banners and the balloons and the flags waving, showing.
And Todd Hayes in the goal to our right as we get ready to start this second period. All tied up at a goal apiece. The New York State Division I championship game. Definitely not as wide open as that Division II championship game.
Certainly isn't, Jerry. It's just a different pace of this game. And again, if I were in John Orlando's spot, that's the way I'd play it. Just prior to the game, saw Benny George down there. He's with his mom and dad, Jim and Pat George, and Benny said, say hello to my wife for me. So hello to Benny's wife. I'm not sure.
Off the face-off, the puck comes to Barkley. Barkley has it bounce away from him, then flips it ahead to Labarge, who does not clear the zone. He gets it right back, though, drops it to Barkley, and Barkley comes in behind his own net. Aaron Barkley starts out for the Massena Red Raiders. Here's Barkley out to center ice, steps by the check, and dumps it inside the Suffern zone. In behind is Gordon. Gordon almost loses it to Cameron, but comes up with it, starts out left side. Long headman pass. They got a 3-on-2. Breaking in is John Chapman. Chapman trying to drop it, but he couldn't get the pass, and Cameron steals it. Headman to Bergeron. Sebastian to Jake. Jake to Cameron. Chris has it knocked away. It comes to Labarge at the point, who flips it in the corner to Chris Cameron. Cameron to Jake in front. Jake can't get a stick on it. Gordon takes it away. He gets tied up by Cameron. The puck rounds the boards to Bergeron. Bergeron dropping it into Cameron. Cameron coming out of the circle. Back to the point. They flip it right into the corner again. Jake Morris after it. Morris flips to Cameron. Here's Chris. Chris in front to Bergeron, and Sebastian couldn't get the shot off. It comes to Jason Labarge. He bangs it in the corner. In behind the net is Cameron. Cameron picking it up, trying to center it. It's knocked down and out to center ice. Dumped right back to the blue line. Bergeron, he flips it. In the corner it goes. I think they called an offside.
And, Jerry, if you take a look at number 18 down there, you just check the stance on him. Tough to knock off his feet. Bow-legged again. We talked about those bow-legged hockey players. Good balance, and he's really, he is really bow-legged. Keen on him out there. He's a good one. Knows exactly where the opposition is at all times. And here we come. One of the balloons floated down from the rafters, and the official just grabs it and gives it to Freddie Kellison. Freddie can't break it. He's there. He does.
Face-off just outside the zone. Off the draw it comes to Brian Levac. Levac goes over to Collins. Collins bangs it down the ice. Gordon waves at it. Goes by him. And racing in after it is Bobby Whitcup. Here's Whitcup looking to center. It's knocked off his stick. And back out come the Mounties to center ice. Breaking in the zone. Here's Danny White. Centers it right in front. And misfiring on it was Tom Lofberg. But a nice pass by White. Now Brian Levac out to center ice. Drops it for Whitcup over to Davis. Davis cranks it. It bounces in behind, takes a funny bounce into the back of the mesh. Gordon clearing it around the boards. Eddie Davis steps in front of it. Knocks it, trying to poke it by. Kicks at it. The puck's still underneath. It comes free in behind. Now Chili goes after it. It's dropped away from him. It comes to Gordon. Gordon on the right side. And he just dumps it high in the air and down the ice. And that'll be an icing call against Suffern. And the faceoff will move back in their zone. 12:51 remaining in the second period. And on the scoreboard, the Corky's Collision scoreboard, we're tied at 1.
Again, the strategy of Suffern. If you haven't got an open man, which they didn't, Adam Gordon checked all alternatives. He looked strong side, he looked center. He didn't have anybody open, and he was being pressured, so he just iced the puck. And this is what you want to do. That's the style that they're going to, the formula they're going to try to use to beat Massena. Slow it down and play for the break, and if you're under pressure, take the icing. And the face-off will be to the left of Robert Sarabona and Trevor Cameron. Okay, looks like we've got that mismatch again, Jerry. Suffern's going to go with their third unit.
Seats taking the face-off against Cameron. Off the draw, comes to Morris, trying to center it. He gets knocked down, gets back up. Cameron pokes it in the corner. Here's Trevor looking to center. Cameron gets knocked down, gets hauled down. There's a penalty on Suffern, and a tripping call against the Mounties. And Trevor Cameron, and guess who's going to go off? And this is going to be tough for Suffern as Gordon gets the gate.
Oh, boy. Coach Johnny O doesn't want to lose anyone, but number 18 is the last man that he wants to use. And again, that mismatch, Coach Johnny O put out his third unit hoping that he could catch a breather for his first two units, but they were unable to get the puck out of the zone. Lost the draw, and trouble started right there. And Adam Gordon had to take a tripping penalty, and Mounties are down a man.
Face off. Won by Massena. Back to the point. Barkley winds and shoots, and the save made on the glove by Sarabona. Cameron comes up with it behind the net, has it knocked away, and it's dumped down the ice by the Suffern Mounties. That is Robert Stevens. Todd Hayes stops it, leaves it for Chris Aldis. Aldis in behind his own net, gives it to Jake. Jake Morris flips it to Barkley. Aaron starts across the red line, dumps it in the Suffern zone. Around the boards it comes. Bergeron has it knocked away. Bouncing puck comes right back to Bergeron. He backhands it behind the net for Chris Cameron. Cameron goes back to the point. Barkley, he tees it up. His shot, the save made. The puck comes free to Aldis, and he fires it wide. Jake Morris with it in the corner now. Drops it for Cameron. Chris gets tied up a little bit, stays with it, has it poked away back to the point, right back to Cameron in front. Here's Chris Cameron. He shoots, and he fires it wide. The goalie got a piece of it. Back to the point again. Barkley fakes the shot, goes to Jake Morris. Here's Morris, right to Aldis, pinching in. Aldis backhander, can't get it off in front. Bergeron scores! Sebastian Bergeron, and Massena goes ahead 2-1.
Raiders back on top, and it was a great job by Aaron Barkley keeping that puck in the zone. The Mounties did everything they could to clear it, but Aaron Barkley kept it in the zone, and the Massena kept pressure. Couple of shots, and the rebound came out to Sebastian Bergeron again. The Raiders flopped their wings. He's a left wing, but a right-handed shot, so he's got that whole net. The rebound came right out to him, and he just one-timed it up high in the far corner, and Robert Sarabona had no chance on that. Sebastian Bergeron, his 14th goal of the year. Chris Cameron will get, Chris Aldis will pick one assist, and we'll see who's the other. Jake Morris is going to get the other assist.
Off the face-off, into the Massena zone. Headman right back into the zone Whitcup, his shot knocked down. It comes to Chile back to the point. Back in the corner to Chilton from the point. He drops it for Eddie Davis. Davis the shot, and that's high and wide. Puck bounces out to the point. Levac, his shot is blocked. It bounces ahead to the red line, picked up by Jason Labarge. He dumps it right back in the zone of Suffern. Gordon banging it out to center ice, comes to Labarge at the Massena blue line. Jason moves it ahead, right back in the zone. It comes to lay off sides on Suffern. They finally clear, and Brian Levac controls the puck. Long head man to Whitcup. Bobby drops it for Jason, or Levac rather. Here's Brian cranking it up. Sarabona makes the save. The puck sits in the slot, and it's cleared in the corner by Sarabona. Now Chilton trying to throw a check, but eluding it is John Chapman. He comes out to center ice, has it knocked away. Here's Chilton with it. His shot right on. Sarabona makes the save. Chilton throws a check. Whitcup comes up with a puck. Whitcup centering pass to Davis. It's knocked away. Comes back to the point and bounces over Levac's stick back out to center ice. Here's Brian Levac, head man. Massena clears it in the zone, dumped right back out again. It comes to Eddie Davis. Davis turning it around. He shovels it deep inside Suffern territory. Around the boards, it comes to Chris Aldis. He shovels one right on the save made by the goalie. Eddie Davis picks it up in the corner. We got a whistle and a cross check. And we got a penalty on Jason Chilton, too. Bobby Whitcup picks up the first penalty, and then they call Jason Chilton for a penalty.
The first one was a cross check, and the second one was a hook, I do believe. I saw the first one, but I didn't see the second one. But the Raiders are going to be down 2 men for a full 1:30. Bobby Whitcup will probably get called for cross-checking, and Jason Chilton will get a hooking call. Very unusual that you call 2 penalties on one play, and the same official had both of them.
So Massena will be down 2 men now, leading it 2-1 with 10:09 left in the second period. The shots on net 13-5 favoring Massena. So now they've got to dig deep and do their best here. Chris Cameron wins the draw and flips it inside Suffern territory. Back to pick it up is John Chapman. Chapman starts out. Here comes Chapman across the blue line into the Massena zone, looking to set it up. Here's Chapman in behind. He's going to try to wrap it around. Comes into the slot, centering pass, the shot. Nice save by Hayes. Bouncing puck into the corner. Slide it ahead, but it comes back to the Massena line. Aldis moving it ahead for Bobby Whitcup. Whitcup slides it in the Mountie zone. Gordon picks it up there. Here's Gordon with it behind his own net. He starts it ahead. Out to center ice. Whitcup gets a stick on it. The puck goes to Bobby again. He flips it right back in the zone, and Paul Goldstein will go after it. Chilton throws the check. The puck comes free to Gordon, though. Gordon bangs it along the boards to the blue line. Here's Barkley's shot knocked down in front and flipped into the corner by Gordon. Goldstein picking it up again. Barkley keeps it in nicely. To the open wing, Eddie Davis. Davis to Whitcup. Bobby out by the blue line, stick handling it. He still got it. Here's the shot by Whitcup. It's blocked by one of the Mounties. That's John Doyle. Doyle trying to clear the zone. He can't. And we got another penalty on Massena. And they touch the puck, and there's the whistle. And they're going to call a tripping on Massena.
And again, watching the play, but happened away from the play. I did not see the penalty, but is that a Massena? There's a Massena player down just right here in front of the Massena bench. I think it's I see the white sock. That's all I can see, and I can't pick up a number. But
also a Suffern player down, John Chapman, who's down in front of the net. And I think it's going to be Whitcup getting the call for tripping.
John Chapman laid a lick on Eddie Davis at center ice. Good, solid, clean check. Eddie Davis with his head down had the puck in his skates, and John Chapman just dropped him with the shoulder. He's a big one, too. Big center, handles the puck really well. I can't make out the Raider player, but they've called for the trainer here of must be the Utica Devil trainer who's on duty here for this tournament, and it's right down in front of the Massena bench, and we just can't see or can't see who the number.
Looks like Eddie Davis.
Eddie Davis, is that who it is? Okay, Joey said he doesn't see Eddie Davis on the bench. So I'm looking to my right. His dad John was sitting to our right a while ago. Is it Eddie Davis?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, he's up and back on the bench, and the trainer has come in to assist him right on the Massena bench. So that's good news. not only for Dad and Mom, but also for the Raiders. So the face-off will be outside the Mountie blue line. They're on a power play. Bobby Whitka picking up a tripping penalty. We've got 6:11 left in the second period, and a 2-2 hockey game.
Now the official has to come down and close the door where the trainer came on.
Shots on goal. The Raiders out shooting the Mounties 14-8, but Suffern tying it up at the 6:06 mark. Danny White unassisted with a two-man advantage for the Mounties.
Off the face-off. Puck kicked in the Mountie zone. They've got the power play, and it's tied at 2 on the Corky scoreboard. Here comes Stevens, or Chapman rather. Chapman across the blue line into the Massena zone. Morris is bothering him. He gets the puck back to the point. In the corner, Jason LaBarge. LaBarge takes it out of the corner. Looks, flips, and it goes up into the Suffern bench, and will face it off in the Massena zone.
Jason LaBarge trying to clear the zone. Did a good job. Picked it up in the corner to the right of Todd Hayes and swung around behind the net and tried to run it on the dasher, but got it up a little too high, and it just cleared the dasher into the Suffern bench. So face off to the left of Todd Hayes.
Off the draw. Dumped to the blue line and down the ice by Brian Levac. Cameron and Morris out there, Levac and LaBarge trying to kill it off. Here comes Chapman again. Chapman bangs it to center ice. It's Danny White with it, has it poked away by Cameron, right back in the Suffern zone. 50 seconds left in the power play. Here's Chapman again, behind his own net. Starts out, he almost lost it in front. Now he does to Jake. Has it poke checked away. Cameron, wasting time, flips it in the zone. Has it knocked away. Chapman drops it back to Gordon. Gordon, the headman pass to Lofberg. Lofberg takes it in the Massena zone. It's knocked away, and Levac bangs it down the ice.
Yeah, want to know why Johnny O has gray hair?
Yeah, Chris Cameron now makes a good play to steal the puck, has it knocked away by Gordon, and it bounces around the boards. Stepping in front of it is Adam Morris. Morris cranks it up, bounces off a leg. Cameron steals it in front. Adam Morris breaks it all by himself. Morris shot, and the save is made, I believe. And Morris just gets hauled into the corner, but stays with it, gets knocked down, and finally Suffern comes up with it. Massena's back to full strength, and Massena very close to scoring a shorthanded goal. Here they come again. Raiders to Adam Morris. This time it gets away from him. Gordon, he bangs it off the glass. Back to the point, Jason LaBarge pinching in. Here's LaBarge getting by the check. LaBarge stops, takes it side of the net, centering pass to Trevor Cameron. He can't get the shot off, and Suffern clears it out to center ice. Here comes Jason LaBarge, building up the head of steam. Takes it by the D again. Here's LaBarge, stick handling, gets in front. Here's LaBarge, shot, save, the rebound. Bounce back to the blue line. Kellison didn't see it, and it's out to center ice. Danny White. White along the boards, he and LaBarge jam in the corner, and they all go down. Kellison comes up with a puck. Here's Freddie Kellison, poking it ahead for Adam Morris. Morris to Trevor Cameron. Cameron trying to split the D. He gets hauled down, gets back up again, centers it in front. Kellison, he fires it wide. And the puck comes into the corner. We have a whistle. And finally, they're going to call the penalty against Suffern. And I'm not sure who's going to get it, but it's an interference, or no, it's a cross-checking call.
I'll tell you, the Raiders brought their game a little more intensity as they killed off that last penalty to Bobby Whitcup, and Suffern never got a shot on goal. In fact, Massena was applying the pressure, and they've continued right along here. They seem to bring their game up a little bit. Number 22, Anthony Taylor, is going to the box for Suffern. We'll see what the call is. It'll probably be a cross-checking, and Massena's got an opportunity to jump back. We've got 3:47 left in the second period. 2-2 game.
Jake Morris is lined out there. Danny White will come out to try to kill it. Of course, Gordon is out there. Robert Stevens and John Chapman off the faceoff. Bergeron. Bergeron back to the blue line. Barkley right back to Berge. Berge centering pass knocked down in front. And Chapman brings it out to center ice. Flips it in the Massena zone. After it is Barkley. Barkley starts it ahead. Aaron Barkley, head man to Bergeron. Bergeron deflects it in the zone, but it comes right back out again. Aldis with it. Chris Aldis controlling the puck from Massena. Head man pass to Cameron. Cameron takes it in on the right side. Back to the point, Barkley. Barkley winds up his shot. Ooh, nice save by Sarabona. Puck around the boards to Chris Aldis. Aldis flips it in the corner for Chris Cameron. Cameron circles behind the net. Goes to Jake Morris at the 45, right in front, trying to feed it to the blue line, and it comes out to center ice. Barkley with it, gets tied up. The puck comes right in. And Hayes is going to play it to Aldous. Aldous back the other way. Headman to Bergeron. Sebastian across the blue line. Here's Sebastian breaking in. Takes it in behind the net. Looks to center. Now he shifts the other way. And his pass back to the point is intercepted. And the Mounties dump it down the ice with 20 seconds left in the power play. Still tied at 2 with 2.5 left in the second period. Headman pass goes to Cameron. Cameron to Morris. Morris takes it in the zone. Here comes Jake trying to center it. It's in the slot. Cameron shot. Save made, and it's underneath the goaltender, Sarabona, and he holds on for the face-off.
Oh, boy, Robert Sarabona. I don't know how he was able to locate that puck and amaze the players down there, and he's still on his belly. Somehow he was able to reach through a pile of legs and corral that puck. And they're calling for the trainer. I don't know what happened to him, but he had presence of mind. He was down on his stomach, whether somebody stepped on him or kicked him. But it was just a pile of arms and legs in there, everyone fishing for the puck, and no one could quite get their stick on it, and Sarabona was able to reach in and put the big glove over it. I don't know, he might want a little breather, Jerry. This could be a golden opportunity for him to catch a breather. And Coach John Orlando is not really setting any world's records of getting out to him.
He's still laying down on the ice, and we're down to 2:20 left to play in the second period. And on the Corky's Collision scoreboard, we're tied at 2.
I will venture to say that young Mr. Sarabona will be on his feet shortly after he finds that there's sufficient rest for his Suffern Mounties. Because I said, Coach Orlando did not race out there like there was a serious concern.
Sarabona getting up slowly. I don't know what happened to him. Now he's sitting up.
He might have, somebody might have kicked him in the arm in that melee, because there were a lot of legs and skates in that, a lot of blue shirts, a lot of white shirts trying to dig that puck out. And it seems to be the arm or shoulder, the left shoulder. Coach John Orlando is flexing it and saying, "How does that feel, son?" He's a fine goaltender. There's no question about it. He's made some big saves. He just made a big stop on Aaron Barkley through traffic just prior to that and was able to locate that. Now he's up.
He's okay.
Yeah,
Our broadcast on WMSA is brought to you by Collins Brothers, Sunny Service Station on East Orvis Street in Massena, by M&W Mini Storage, Route 37 in Massena, Evergreen Memorials, 112 Maple Street in Massena, by Reynolds Metals, St. Lawrence Reduction Plant, working together, their quality shines through, and by Bogosian's Carpet and Furniture and BC Cleaning, 70 Willow Street, Massena. 2:20 left in the second period, 2-2 tie on the Corky's Collision scoreboard, Massena and Suffern in the New York State Division I championship game.
We felt that the Mounties would have to play one of their best games of the season, get great goaltending, and catch a break. And I don't know. I know that second one, they're getting great goaltending here this afternoon. Robert Sarabona has really been sharp.
Now we're waiting the Devils trainer going back off the ice again as he had come back out.
Nice to have somebody with that medical capabilities on hand.
Chilton will take the face-off. Left side is Sarabona against Lofberg. Off the draw, it comes to Gordon in behind his own net. He rounds the boards out to center ice. And the power play is over for the Raiders. Puck dumped right back in the zone by Brian Levac. Comes in behind. Whitcup chasing it down, but Gordon's there first. Gordon flips it ahead to center ice. And again, Levac comes up with it, has it poked away, and it goes up into the Suffern bench. And the face-off will come just outside the Massena zone with 2:02 left in the second period. Tied at 2 on the Corky scoreboard.
And again, the Mounties able to dictate the tempo of this game, what they wanted to do. They can't play up tempo with Massena, and they are dictating it. When it starts to get out of hand, somehow they slow it down, face off, flip the puck over the boards, goaltender gets hurt, whatever, and we've got a 2-2 hockey game.
Off the face-off, puck back in the Massena zone. Collins, headman right on Chili's stick. Here comes Jason Chilton, busting in behind. He stops in the corner. Centers it right across the goal mouth. It went off a leg in behind the net. Whitcup pokes it in the corner, gets up to end it. The puck along the boards. Whitcup throwing a check. Bouncing puck. It comes to Whitcup again. He gets tied up, flips it in behind. It's Chapman. Chapman and Davis now. Chapman dumps it down the ice, and that's going to be an icing call against Suffern.
John Chapman is, when I made that comment before, why John Orlando has gray hair, I think one of the reasons John Chapman has put a few there, he has a habit of coming up the middle with it and sometimes not putting a lot of mustard, but he's got confidence in taking it back in his own zone, cutting across the crease area in front of Sarabona. He just feathered one up the middle that went for an icing call.
Trevor Cameron will face it off now against Lofberg. Face off right side in the Suffern zone. Off the face, the puck sits in the circle, picked up again by Chapman. Chapman double shifts as well. He plays forward and defense. Here's Chapman out to center ice. Stick handles. Takes it in the Massena zone and gets a shot, and Hayes makes the save and holds on for the... No, is he? Yeah, he's going to hold on. He's got Chapman coming in. He wanted to drop it for Aldis, but Chapman was too close. He decided to hold on for the face-off.
That's right. We did not mention that John Chapman sees some time back on defense. So there's three key players, Chapman, Stevens, and Gordon, that see a lot of ice time. Gordon the most. He never comes off unless he gets a penalty. One thing that give the Mounties full marks for, they do an excellent job out in front of Sarabona, tying up the loose men, playing a good defensive zone coverage there.
Jake Morris out to take the face-off against Lofberg. Off the draw, Jake wins it back to Chris Aldis. Aldis rounds the boards for Jason Labarge, and Labarge starts it out. Here's Labarge. Oops, he turns back in his own end, gets tied up by Lofberg. Lofberg almost stole the puck, but Labarge skates out of the corner, flips it ahead to Bergeron. Bergeron drops for Jake Morris. Here comes Morris. Jake skating out of the circle, takes it to center ice, right down the middle. Jake Morris shifts by the D. Here's Morris centering in front, but it's knocked away by Chapman, and Chapman starts back the other way. Moving it to center ice. Aldis. Aldis has it knocked away and comes back in his own end. Comes up with it somehow to Bergeron. Bergeron dumps it down the ice. They wave off the icing as somebody touched it. And it goes in behind the net. Picked up there by Adam Gordon. Gordon flips it out to center ice. Aldis bangs at it in front of the net. Gets it ahead to Bergeron. Bergeron to Cameron. Cameron loses to Gordon. Here's Aldis' shot. The rebound to Jake Morris. Morris has it poke checked away. Nice play there by the defenseman Robert Stevens. Now down the other way. It comes into the Massena zone. In behind the net with 10 seconds left. Chris Aldis with it. Moving to Bergeron. Bergeron trying to clear the zone. He gets it to center ice. And it comes to Cameron, who cranks it up. Light rising shot goes in the zone as the buzzer sounds. And we're going to go to the third period. All tied up at 2 apiece.
And one of those games, we've said it before during the course of the season, the longer it goes tied, it's the advantage goes to the underdog, who would be the Suffern Mounties in this game. The Raiders have controlled the play, had good territorial advantage, but again, the big thing, 2-2 up on that scoreboard, and Robert Sarabona, 2 power play goals, one each by Massena and one by Suffern in that second period. Saves Robert Sarabona with 16 and Todd Hayes with 7. Massena has hit the ice first, and the Raider contingent urging him on, giving him a rousing welcome. Suffern has not made their way. Both teams coming, dressing in the same location to our right, the north end of the arena. As we said, this arena runs north and south. We're on the east side, great vantage spot up above center ice. Get up and a lot of vocal support. The Raiders are already at center ice. Jake Morris, Captain Jake Morris, and Captain Chris Cameron, along with Sebastian Bergeron and Captain Jason Labarge and Aaron Barkley will be the starting 5. And the Mounties just coming to center ice right now. John Chapman, John Doyle, and Bob Stevens up front, and Paul Goldstein and Adam Gordon on defense.
And we're about ready to go here. Off the face-off, bouncing puck, Jake Morris. Here's Morris, dumps it in the zone. It comes in behind the net, racing for it is Goldstein. Wraps it around the boards, back to the blue line. Jake with it, gets tied up, has it knocked away, and it's iced by Suffern. And the whistle blows, and we'll come right back down and face it off.
Raiders caught a break there. The strong side defenseman elected to stay on the line and try to keep it in, and number 7, John Chapman, got to the puck first and banked it off the boards, and would have created a 2-on-1, but he played the angle wrong and Raiders got a lucky skip, and it went all the way down the ice.
Face off right side in the Suffern end. Jake Morris takes the draw. It's banged to the blue line, kept in by Jason Labarge. Labarge skates it in the corner, centering pass, knocked down, goes in behind. Here's Bergeron with it, trying to flip it, but it's dumped out to center ice. And here come the Mounties into the zone. They got a minor 2-on-1. Here's a shot, big save. The rebound bounces to the blue line. Bergeron pokes it to center ice. Here's Cameron. Chris Cameron with it in the corner. Cameron ridden into the boards there by Goldstein, but he comes up with a puck. Here's Cameron, centering pass. Back to Barkley at the blue line. Barkley flips it. Knocked down. Bounces by Chili as Massena makes a line change, but Chilton keeps it in somehow. Here's Chilton trying to get the shot off. It's knocked down. Bounces out to the blue line, then back in the corner. Off the skate of Robert Stevens. Stevens and Chilton go in after it. Stevens comes out of the pack with it. Here's Stevens trying to clear the zone. He pokes it, and it goes off a stick into the Massena zone. In behind the net, Todd Collins with it. It's Bobby Whitcup. Whitcup almost lost it, but he gets it ahead to Eddie Davis. Davis looks up, flips it ahead for Brian Levac. Levac circles back, steps by the check, takes it, dumps it. In the corner it goes. Inside Suffern territory. Davis flips it around the boards. Picked up there by Anthony Taylor. Doesn't get it out of the zone. It comes to Chilton. Chilton flips it in the corner. Back after it is Chapman. Chapman trying to clear the zone. Chilton steps in front. His shot. Save made. And a good one by Sarabona. Back to the point. Levac with it. He steps by the sliding defenseman. His shot. The save made by Sarabona. Puck goes in the corner. John Chapman dumps it down the ice. That'll be an icing call against Suffern. He tried to feed the streaking forward. That was Anthony Taylor, but it was too far.
I'll tell you, John Chapman did it again. When he goes back to defense, he's still thinking forward. He cleared one right up the middle, not a lot on it, and he cleared it right to Jason Chilton. It was about 45 feet out, and Chili blasted one, and luckily for Robert Sarabona, hit something and went to the corner. But a real bad giveaway by number 7, John Chapman.
Face off right side, Trevor Cameron out there. Adam Morris and Freddie Kellison. Here we're in the Suffern zone. Off the draw, puck in the circle. Morris takes it in front, shot. Oh, it hits the side of the net. He tries to center, it goes back to the point. Here's Aldis. His shot is blocked, and it bounces back out to center ice. Jason LaBarge waits, flips it in the Suffern zone. Adam Gordon with it, side of his own net, moving it out to center ice. Jason LaBarge chases it down, circles back in behind his own net. Here's LaBarge looking up. Starts it ahead to Morris, and it goes by him, but icing is waved off, comes in behind the net. Trevor Cameron throws the check, and Adam Morris picks up the puck. Back to the point. Jason LaBarge cranks it up. Oh, nice save. Rebound Morris, another nice save. Oh, boy, Sarabona made two beauties right there. And back comes John Chapman to center ice. In the Massena zone, has it knocked away by Aldis. Aldis trying to clear the zone, he can't. Poked away, though. Here's Trevor Cameron. Cameron with it. Has it knocked away to Aldis. Aldis gets by the defense. Here comes Aldis winding it up. His shot, he fires it wide. Puck comes to Kellison at the 45. He shovels it into the corner. Massena making a line change. And back in the zone is Aldis. Oh, and that is Aldis, but he's offside.
Trevor Cameron got nailed again right at center ice by John Chapman, the same guy that put the lick on Eddie Davis. And Trevor came to the bench and under some difficulty. He really got nailed and made his way. We'll see if he comes back out the next shift. But, a big save just prior to that by Sarabona, as you mentioned. Two great saves.
Off the face-off puck. Gordon trying to clear the zone. He finally does. Moves it to the Massena line. Levac flipping it ahead. Bouncing puck Bergeron. Sebastian has it swept away. We're still tied at 2-2 on the Bob Post State Farm Insurance scoreboard as the puck bounces into the Massena zone. Brian Levac overskates it but comes up with it anyway. Has it taken away, but it bounces into the circle. Here's a backhander. It's knocked down by Levac. Good play. Brian bangs it ahead to Jake Morris. Morris goes to Chris Cameron. Cameron gets by the defense. Here's Cameron with it. Turning it around, centers it. It bounces in the corner. Levac pinches in, gets a shot off. It's blocked. And it's picked up by Chapman. Chapman trying to clear it center to Morris. Bounced away from him and back out to center ice. Into the zone. Here comes Stevens. Has it knocked away by Jake. Feeds Bergeron. Bergeron to Cameron. Big Chris into the zone. Here's Cameron. Has it poke checked away in the corner. Cameron after it. Chris feeds it behind for Bergeron. Bergeron looking to go in front. Wraps it around. The save made. Sarabona jumps out. Can't get a piece of it, but it comes clear to Doyle. Doyle moves it to center ice. Ahead it goes to Stevens. Stevens shot. Save made by Hayes. The rebound bounces to the side of the net and comes in behind. Jason Chilton. Chilton flips it back for Levac. His clearing pass out to center ice. He kind of threw it up the middle that time too. Now the puck comes back in the Massena zone. Levac Levac behind his own net. Starts it ahead for Chilton. Here's Chili over skating. Drops it to Barkley. Barkley to Eddie Davis. Davis just leaves it for Whitcup. Bobby pokes it in the corner, goes after it. Here's Whitcup. In behind, looking, circling. Whitcup still got it. Here's Whitcup. Stick handles by one. Drops it back to the point. Labarge, a shot deflected by Whitcup in the corner. Bobby comes in after it. Centers it right in front. It's underneath Chilton, and Sarabona jumps out and covers it up.
I'll tell you, Jerry, that double shifting and triple shifting and quadruple shifting is starting to pay its toll on the Suffern Mounties right now. They're not only a half a step behind the Raiders, they're 2 steps. Massena's jumping on every loose puck, and a couple of occasions they've been outdistanced 3-1 and been able to beat the Suffern player to the loose puck. It's just Suffern. It just seems like they're out of gas right now.
Face off left side in the Suffern zone. Trevor Cameron out there. Takes the face-off, gets by the D, has it knocked away, and it bounces out to center ice. To the Massena line. In the zone it goes. Picked up there by Kellison. Head man to Adam Morris. Here's Morris. Trying to go by the defense. Trevor trying to follow up, and he can't. And the Mounties just look to clear the puck now. And they bounce it. They got a guy breaking, and icing will be the call. I thought he touched it, but apparently he didn't. They're trying to get that guy sticking at the blue line to feed him for the breakaway. They've tried that 3 or 4 times now.
Number 17, that little water bug, Danny White, plays the off wing. He started on the left side and snuck in behind Chris Aldis on the far side. And the Mountie defense just misconnected, but not by much, or he would have been in free. You know, number 7, Chapman's back on defense, Jerry. As good as he is as a forward, if he did one more time, threw that puck out in front, if I were Johnny O, I'd have a serious talk with him.
Oh. 9:35 left in the third period. Still tied at 2 on the Bob Post State Farm Insurance scoreboard. Face off right side in the Suffern zone. Trevor Cameron trying to come up with it. Bounces along the boards. Pinching in is Aldis. He keeps it in nicely. Here's Aldis with it. Centering to Morris in front. That's Adam Morris trying to center. Bounces right back to him. Here's Morris coming in front. Finally, it's bounced to the blue line. Aldis whacks at it. Goes in behind the net again. They flip it along the boards, and it's out to center ice. Here comes Anthony Taylor. Taylor loses the puck to Labarge. Labarge has it stolen away. Here's an opportunity in front. The shot is wide. Goes into the corner, and it's picked up by Freddie Kellison. Kellison ahead to Adam Morris. Morris has got Trevor Cameron, feeds him the puck. Cameron. Did they call an offside?
Yes, they did, Jerry.
Okay.
Great play down here by Chris Aldis. Giveaway by the Raiders in their own end. And big number 7, Chris Aldis, was able to cover up and just defuse a disastrous situation. Would have been a 2-on-none, but he was able to intercept the clearing pass. Oh, boy.
Jake,
the Mounties came within a whisker of going in there 2-on-none.
Jake Morris will take the face-off. And there's some discussion about something, and I don't know what. Got to have another man out for Massena. Okay, Collins steps across the board. Off the face-off. Here's Bergeron dropping it to Collins. Collins goes to Levac. Ryan dumps it in the zone. Racing in after it is Cameron. Chris to Jake. Jake shot. Knocked down. And the Mounties try to break it out of there, and they do move it out to center ice. Collins is there to dump it right back in the zone. Comes in on Sarabona. He leaves it for Gordon. Gordon starts it out. Here's Gordon banging it down the boards, and that's going to be an icing against the Mounties. And the faceoff will come back inside their zone.
Again, a good, smart move by Chris Gordon. He wasn't being forechecked aggressively. The Raiders playing a 1-2 that time, held the wings, and the first man in wasn't. Everyone was covered, so Gordon just banked it off the boards and took the icing. Didn't try to be cute with it. Didn't try to be fancy. Smart move, but the face-off again in the Suffern end to the left of Sarabona.
Off the draw, Jake trying to get the shot off, and he can't. Puck comes to Gordon. Backhands it to center ice. Brian Levac is there, flipping for Cameron. Here's Cameron to Jake. Jake takes it across. His shot fires it high and wide. Bergeron back to Collins at the point. Collins' pass is knocked down, and it comes into the Massena zone. They got a 2-on-1. Here's the shot, and it's wide. Goes in behind the net. Collins throws a check. The bouncing puck comes to Chapman. He's knocked off it by Chris Cameron. Cameron lugs it to center ice. Here comes Cameron. across the blue line, in the zone. Cameron looking, takes it in behind. He's still got it, looking for somebody to pass to, goes to LaBarge. LaBarge's shot deflected to Morris. He scores!
Captain Jake Morris have just put the Raiders up by 1. Chris Cameron gained his own, took it in behind the net. Jason LaBarge coming late off a line change, jumped down on the play. Chris Cameron saw him, passed it back to Jason LaBarge, who took a shot through traffic. Somehow Sarabona made the save, but gave up the rebound. It kicked out to his left. And Jake Morris, standing about 12 feet off the left, backhanded one up over the body of fallen Robert Sarabona, and the Raiders have busted the bubble here with 7:38, up by 1, 3-2. Jake Morris and Jason LaBarge and probably Chris Cameron will get that assist, no question. Yes, sir.
Jason Chilton's line out there now. Chilton out with Whitcup and Davis. Massena leads at 3-2 on the Bob Post State Farm Insurance scoreboard. Here's Chapman with it, and Hayes makes the glove save from center ice. In behind the net now, it bounces around. Jason LaBarge with it. It comes free. Picked up there by Danny White. We have a whistle.
Got a hand pass, Jerry. Good call by the official. Well, the Mounties are going to have to come out of that shell now, that defensive shell. 7:25 left. They're going to have to put some offensive pressure, take a few more chances. But I'll tell you that skating those youngsters double, triple shifts, it's starting to pay its price right now. They just haven't got the legs that the Raiders have.
Well, the Massena crowd making some noise here. Here's Jason Chilton to take the face-off just outside the Massena zone. Off the draw, it bounces back in the Suffern zone. Comes in on Sarabona. He leaves it for Chapman. Here's Chapman. Loses to Whitcup in the corner. Bobby with a puck. Bobby has it poked away, and the Mounties break out of the zone. Here's Lofberg. He shoots it from center ice. Hayes makes the save, and the rebound comes to LaBarge. LaBarge bounces it to Whitcup. Bobby with it in behind the net. Comes to Brian Levac. Levac hits Whitcup in the back with it. Bobby sticks it ahead. Here comes Jason Chilton. Into the zone. He cranks it up and fires it wide. Whitcup flips it in the corner. Comes in behind the net. Picked up by Chapman. Chapman banks it to the blue line, but not out. Whitcup, whoops. We got controlling with a high stick, I believe.
Yes, it was, Jerry. The faceoff will come outside the Raider blue line. Big goal again. That one coming at 7:22. Jake Morris, his 23rd of the season. Chris Cameron gained the zone, swung down in behind the net. Looking. He found Jason LaBarge coming late, and he threw it back to the point, and Jason LaBarge one-timed it, got it through traffic, but Sarabona made the save, gave up the rebound, and Jake Morris to the left of Sarabona, backhanded one up over the fallen Robert Sarabona to put the Raiders up by 1.
Trevor Cameron in the zone, has it knocked away, bounces to the red line, dumped right back in the Suffern zone. In behind the net. Here's Goldstein flipping it. Adam Morris takes a whack at it, can't come up with it. Bounces out to center ice. Here's Robert Stevens. Gets a shot off, comes right in on Hayes. He's going to cover up and hold on for the faceoff. That just kind of trickled in, but he had a Suffern forward moving in, and he decided to cover it up for the faceoff.
Every potential shot is a dangerous one when you're protecting a one-goal lead. Everything is dangerous, so Todd Hayes, as you mentioned, taking no chances, decided to cover up. The face-off to the left of Todd Hayes. Jake Morris line coming back out, and the John Chapman line out there for the Mounties.
6:22 left in the third period. Massena leads 3-2 on the Bob Post State Farm Insurance scoreboard. Face-off to the left. Off the draw, in behind the net. Brian Levac with it. He stick handles. Bounces it to Chris Aldis, and Aldis moves it ahead to Bergeron. Bergeron down the left wing side, takes it across. Here's Sebastian Bergeron in the corner. In behind the net, stick handling, trying to center it. Taken away, it bounces free. And where is it? It's John Chapman with it, bangs it up the boards. Chris Cameron steps in front, centers it. And Bergeron tried to chip it in. Now it's poked to the blue line, out to center ice. Levac with it, has it poked away, comes back inside the Suffern zone, right back out again. To the Massena line, Chris Aldis. Here's Aldis, head man to Bergeron. Bergeron winds up from the blue line. Sarabona makes the save, steers it in behind, wraps it around the boards. It comes to Jake Morris. Morris to Cameron, poked away. In behind to pick it up is Chapman. Chapman steps by the check, starts it ahead, moves it to center ice. to the Massena line. Bouncing away, Cameron can't hold on to it. Comes free in front, here's the shot. Glove saved by Hayes. Oh boy. Here is Brian Levac with it now. Levac on Bergeron's stick. Here's Bergeron dumping as Massena wants a, whoa, what a bounce that took. A line change. They move it ahead. Bobby Whitcup steps in front of the pass. Whitcup back in the zone. Here's Whitcup in behind, has it poked away, gets it back again. Whitcup gets it to the blue line, keeps it in the zone to Eddie Davis. Davis, quick wrist shot, fired it wide, the rebound, fired wide again by Jason Chilton. Whitcup in the corner, trying to center it now. He gets tied up. Gordon's in there. Whitcup comes out of the pack with it. Back to Davis in the slot. His shot, nice save by Sarabona. Puck comes back to the rebound, to the blue line. The shot taken by Barkley. Bounces into the penalty box as they try to clear it. 4:38 left in the third period. And on the Bob Post State Farm Insurance scoreboard, Massena leading 3-2.
Oh boy, Jerry, the Mounties gas tank, if it's not on empty, it's just a fraction. It's just a fraction of being on empty because they're just skating in sand right now. Cannot get to any loose puck, but a great save back the other way. But every opportunity that they have is dangerous. Big save by Todd Hayes off of number 12, Robert Stevens, who one time to Screamer, and Todd was able to get the glove on it. But Mounties are really out of gas.
Face off right side in the Mounties zone. Moving it ahead is Chapman to center ice. Knocked down by Aldis. Kellison. Nice centering pass to Trevor Cameron to Adam Morris. Morris to Cameron, has it knocked away. It's out to center ice. Aldis lifts it into the zone, just crosses. Now the head man comes to the Massena line. In behind the Massena net is Chris Aldis. Aldis backhands it. Brian Levac. Levac headman, knocked down by Gordon at his own blue line. Bangs it ahead. Here comes Brian Levac. Takes it by the defense. Here's Levac in the corner, centering Kellison. Oh, and he fanned on it. Nice pass there. Freddie couldn't quite get his stick on it. He comes after it in the corner. Here's Freddie Kellison digging for it. He and Gordon try to tie it up. Kellison after it in behind the net. It comes poking free, and finally Gordon comes up with it. Gordon gets it out to center ice. Into the zone. Here come the Mounties. Getting a shot off, and it's cleared into the corner by Todd Hayes. Now back out to the blue line, out to center ice. Back in, and offsides will be called against the Suffern Mounties. With 3:36 left in the third period, Massena leading 3-2 on the Bob Post State Farm Insurance scoreboard.
Suffering know that they're down a goal, but they still cannot, they can't mount much of a threat. They're just getting the puck and driving it in from center ice, hoping they can catch a lucky bounce, but knowing that they're only 3 minutes and 36 seconds away from losing this state championship, if they had anything left in the gas tank, they better reach down and get it now, Jerry, because they haven't exerted much offensive thrust here in this third period.
Off the face-off, puck at the red line. Comes bouncing around, picked up by Morris to Bergeron to Cameron, and he gets tied up, and the puck bounces. Does it come out to center ice? It does. Jake backhands it in the corner. Picked up by Adam Gordon. Gordon trying to move the zone, kept in by Jake Morris. Morris backhands it in the corner again. Gordon after it there. Here's Gordon trying to move it to center ice. Cameron stops him momentarily, bounces to the Massena line, comes to Morris again from Aaron Barkley. Flipping it in behind, Sarabona stops it. Around the boards it goes. Mounties move it to center ice. Here comes Chapman. Winds up his shot, deflected into the corner, comes right on Hayes as it took a funny bounce off the backboard, and Hayes decides to cover that one up.
Weird bounce, and you see the Raiders now with this stage of the game, with every unit they put out there, they're holding the wings, they're sending one man. In fact, they're keeping the wings so high, they're almost out at the blue line, especially the weak side wing. And this is what you're going to see every chance Massena gets, they'll just dump it in. And this should make it easy for Suffern to come out of their zone to mount some type of attack. Let's see if they have any gas to do that. 2:49 left in this hockey game. Big face-off to the right of Todd Hayes.
Jason Chilton will take the draw against, I think it's going to be Tom Lofberg. Face-off right side of the Massena zone.
Lofberg won that draw, Jerry, on their first goal cleanly back to Adam Gordon. Well, he's good on the draw.
Now they're going to call a timeout.
Mounties want a timeout to get their strategy set here. Again, every face-off this stage of the game is big. No bigger than this one is really big. And Coach Moore is going to instruct his Chargers, listen now, we don't need another one. Come on, gang. He's getting them together down here. Good, solid hockey. Good. Don't break down. Don't do somebody else's job in your own end. Do your end. Just what we've been teaching you all year long. There's nothing new, nothing exotic right now. Just good position. And again, you don't have to get fancy. You know, dump it in their end. We don't want to get two guys caught down below the dots. Good defensive hockey. And on the other side of the coin, Coach Johnny Orlando saying, hey, fellas, we know it's our last gasp. Got to have this draw. Got to put two men on the puck. Got to find some more reserve in that gas tank. This is your last opportunity to get a state championship. You've got 2 minutes and 49 seconds, and every chance you get, drift the puck towards the net. You know, only good things can happen if you shoot towards the goal.
Faceoff will be in the Massena zone to the right of goaltender Todd Hayes.
I'll tell you, this crowd sitting right on the edge of their seats, I should say, and now they're standing, most of them, and all cheering for the Raiders on this side. Again, the signs, and that's those young men really appreciate that. Enables them to reach down and get a little bit more. And, of course, the Suffern fans, the same for their team, but I'll give them full credit to the Suffern Mounties, the game that they came in here today. You and I have both agreed we didn't think it would be this close. The Raiders have applied the pressure, but have only been able to score 3.
Jake Morris will be out to take the face-off. And he'll face off against Tom Lofberg. We're still waiting for them to drop the puck. And they do, and Lofberg wins it to Gordon. His shot right on the rebound, and it's cleared into the corner by Todd Collins. Great play. And Massena clears the zone to Chris Cameron. Here comes Cameron down the ice on Gordon. Cameron and Gordon jamming in the corner, and the puck comes free to Chapman. Chapman, long head man pass to the Massena line. Todd Collins with it in behind the net. Collins backhands it. Brian LeBac has a problem but finds it. Goes to Cameron, and Cameron dumps it right down. It's going to be right on Sarabona. Sarabona clears it in the corner. Now he's going to stick it ahead as they try to move it out to center ice. Here comes actually a 3-on-2. The shot is high over the net. I don't think they realized what a good chance they had because they didn't make any pass at all. Massena clears the zone. Now Sarabona is going to know he's going to let it go for the icing. It looked like he was going to come and play it, but then he didn't, and Massena gets called for the icing. The face-off will be back in their end to the left of goaltender Todd Hayes.
Deja vu, I'll tell you, that last draw, it was just a replay of the first one. Tom Lofberg won the draw cleanly, right back to big number 18, Adam Gordon, and he one-timed it. He didn't get as much on it as he wanted, but it wobbled through there and, you know, hit something, but Todd Hayes was able to make the save on it. Boy, oh boy.
Jason Chilton will face off against Tom Lofberg. 1:56 left. This time Chilton wins the draw. Barkley gets tied up behind the net. The puck bounces free to Adam Morris. Here comes Adam breaking out of the zone. Head man on Chilton's stick. Chile takes it across, drop pass for Morris. Morris gets upended, and the puck comes bouncing to the blue line. Whitcup keeps it in. Nice play by Bobby. Puck in behind now, 1:36 and counting. Massena leads by a singleton, 3-2. Here comes Lofberg. Dumps it ahead to the Massena blue line. Barkley is there to clear it back down the ice to the Suffern line. Out to center ice. Knocked away by Chilton. Bounces up in the Massena bench. And we'll have a face-off with 1:19 left in the third period. And it's just about time to pull the goalie almost.
79 ticks of that clock, and the Massena Red Raiders, if they are able to withstand the Suffern Mounties with 79 ticks, will bring home the state championship. And what a feat that will be for the NAC to come out of here with both state champions, the Salmon River Shamrocks and hopefully the Massena Red Raiders.
Lofberg will face Jake Morris in neutral ice, Suffern half of neutral ice. And we're still waiting for the face-off, waiting for them to drop the puck. 1:19 left, off the face. Puck comes back in the Suffern zone, picked up by Chapman. Shoots it from center ice, it's way wide. Cameron in the corner, trying to flip it ahead for Jason Labarge. He just moves it, doesn't get it out. Here's the shot, save made, rebound in front of the net, and is cleared behind by Jason Labarge. He bangs it back to the blue line. Here's the shot, nice save by Hayes. Puck in behind, they jam for it. Where is it? Chris Cameron's got it. Cameron has it knocked away. Comes to Jake Morris. Morris, they pull their goalie. Here comes Jake looking up ice. Stick handles ahead. Takes it out to center ice. Trying to move it. Has it taken away. across the blue line. Here comes Suffern. It comes to Jason LaBarge. He loses it backhand. What a save by Hayes. Puck bouncing around, 30 seconds. They center it in front. The shot, they score! Suffern's tied it up. 30 seconds left. Suffern ties it up.
Number 12, Robert Stevens, was Johnny on the spot. Todd Hayes just made a stellar save off the Suffern player. The puck went to the corner. They threw it back out, and Robert Stevens, to the right of Todd Hayes, drilled one low, and I think it went between the legs. And just prior to that, Jake Morris was staring at an empty net and just couldn't quite connect. But the 30 seconds left to go. What? That's a gutty performance. Gutty performance by the Suffern Mounties. But the Raiders back there in mass, giving Todd Hayes tap. Well, don't worry about that one. And that one certainly wasn't Todd's fault. Just good pressure. The first pressure that the Mounties put on. They had pulled their goaltender, and they waited to 51 seconds. They had plenty of opportunities prior to that. But
off the faceoff, puck in the Massena zone. Headman knocked down back inside. They wait, try to get on sides, and they didn't. Apparently, offside's the call on Suffern. Down to 22 seconds left in the third period, tied at 3.
The official time of that goal, 14:30, Robert Stevens from John Doyle and Danny White. And that Danny White has been a little water bug in the side of Massena here this afternoon, just like he was yesterday against Seton Catholic. But we've got 22 ticks of that clock before overtime.
Off the faceoff, Brian Levac flips it to Todd Collins. Collins, the head man. Adam Morris takes it across. Here comes Morris, busting in. Oh, he fired it and just wide. 12 seconds left. Puck bounces to the blue line, kept in momentarily. Now it's out to center ice. Suffern in the Massena zone. Here's the shot, and it's gloved by Hayes. I don't know if it was on net, but he's going to hold on for the faceoff.
Again, another face-off, 3 seconds. It's enough time, and number 6 is lurking out there, Tommy Lofberg. He's excellent on the draw.
1 second, though.
1 second, okay. Well, I looked up when he caught the puck. There was a delay, and they ran 2 more seconds off because I was checking the clock, Jerry, and a little slow on the trigger. Raiders caught a break there.
They're going to pull their goalie again, get that extra attacker out there. And this is a big face-off, and Jake Morris out to do it.
And they're going to bring number 18. There could be a tick and 3/4 on there. Lofberg's there, and he's stationing 12 Stevens where he wants him. And he's got number 18, Gordon, just at the top of the circle. So all 5 of the Suffern players are either on the circle or below the circle. And the key will be for Lofberg to draw either to Stevens. He wants to draw to number 18, Gordon. I don't know. Let's see. If it's a tick and a half or just 1 full tick.
There's the, well, it wasn't a tick and a half.
You know, it wasn't. It wasn't a full tick. And anyway, they were not able to win the draw. The Raiders won the draw. Jake Morris got it over to the side. So we are going to go to OT. And that's full marks to Suffern. They didn't mount much offensive thrust until that last 30 seconds. And Todd Hayes made a stellar save just prior to that through traffic, and he got the blocker on it. It went to the corner, and John Doyle or Danny White, I'm not sure. I think John Doyle kicked it down inside to Danny White, and he turned and just threw it out front. And it somehow got to Bob Stevens over here to the right. He was probably 10 feet of
12 Maple Street M&W Mini Storage on Route 37, and by Collins Brothers Sunny Service Station, East Orvis Street, Massena. We're tied at 3. And we're headed into sudden victory overtime.
And if I can try to recap that last goal, the Suffern gained the zone. Jake Morris was able to gain control of the puck on the far side and skated out of the zone. In fact, he got to center ice, was looking at an empty net, but I don't know who the Suffern player was. The defenseman was able to deflect the puck, took control of it, dumped it back in the zone again. And again, I'm not sure what Suffern player, if it was Stevens, who took a quick shot after they gained the zone, and Todd Hayes made a super save, and the puck went to the corner. And there were several players, and I think that John Doyle had a stick on it, and he kicked it down into the corner to Danny White, little fire plug, and he dug it out. He's a right-handed shot. He was in the left corner, just spun around and threw it across the crease, and somehow it got through all the traffic, and stationed over to the right-hand side was Robert Stevens, and he's a right-handed shot, and he was on the left of to the right of the net, so again, he had the full net to shoot at, and he made no mistake. A good shot. He was looking all the way, looking where he wanted to shoot it, and he put it upstairs over Todd Hayes, and that's where we stand. We got a 7.5-minute overtime, sudden death or sudden victory, however you want to call it, but here we go.
Jake Morris out to take the face-off for the Massena Red Raiders. He'll face it off against John Chapman. About ready to start the sudden death overtime, and it comes to the Massena line. Barkley with it. Aaron Barkley bangs it inside Suffern territory. Comes in behind the net. Picked up by Gordon. Gordon bangs it to center ice. Knocked down by Barkley. Barkley goes to LaBarge, ahead to Cameron. Cameron flips to Morris. Bouncing puck comes in front. Jake trying to come up with it, gets knocked down, and the puck comes free. Kept in there by Cameron. Gordon picking it up in the corner. Loses to Chris Cameron. Cameron in behind the net. Here's Cameron centering it. Back to Barkley at the point. He winds up. His shot is blocked, and it bounces down the ice. And racing in after it is Chapman and LaBarge. LaBarge takes him out of the play. Centers the puck. It bounces into the circle. They jam at it. Where is it in behind? Chris Cameron slides it along the boards. Here's a shot knocked down by Jason LaBarge. Puck in the corner. Comes back to the blue line. Here's a shot. Hayes makes the save. Not a hard shot, but he made the save. Here comes Chris Cameron. Cameron takes it across the blue line. Gets knocked down. The puck in the corner. Bergeron. Sebastian trying to center it. Bangs out to center ice. Brian Levac trying to dump it in the zone. Has it blocked. Puck along the boards. They jam for it right in front of the penalty box. And Levac still has a piece of it. Finally, it pokes to the Massena line. Picked up there by Jason Chilton. Headman. Whitcup can't control it. Bounces back to the Massena line. And Massena picked up a penalty, I think. Jason Chilton. I didn't even see it, but it looks like Suffern's going to go on the power play here.
Roughing call. They're calling it against Brian Levac.
Brian Levac. I didn't even see that penalty.
Neither did I, Jerry. I don't know where that happened. But it had to be a flagrant call in an overtime to make a call like that. And the Raider bench is asking why, where. I certainly... Joey, did you see where that happened? No, and we're not being naive here. None of us up here saw that infraction, but Brian Levac.
Power play opportunity for Suffern in the sudden victory, sudden death overtime. Here comes the puck in the Massena zone. Aldis after it. Aldis loses it, but pokes it away to Bobby Whitcup, and he backhands it down the ice. Comes in on Sarabona. He leaves it in the corner for Gordon. Gordon, behind his own net, shovels it out to center ice. Here comes the puck in the Massena zone, poked away by Whitcup. Back out to Chapman at his own blue line. Chapman with it. Feeds Gordon. Gordon, headman down the ice. That'll be an icing call. No? As Massena tries to clear and does. Here comes Chilton. Chilton busting in on the left wing side. Chilton gets the shot. He fired it wide. He was being impeded from behind a little bit. And the puck slides out to center ice. To the red line. Picked up there. Here's Danny White. Gets by the check. In the corner it goes. They center it right in front. The shot, big save by Hayes. The puck bounces free. Here's another shot, another save by Hayes, and Hayes dives on top of it.
Oh, my God, what a melee down there. How did Todd Hayes keep that puck out of there? And I'm not sure if Bobby Whitcup was able to help him, but just that puck dancing around. The Mounties had several glorious opportunities. Robert Stevens is shaking his head. Danny White is shaking his head. He had a glorious opportunity. He was just laying there, just tantalizing. He couldn't quite get his stick on it, and someone shoveled it through. And I think Bobby Whitcup was in behind Todd Hayes and made that save in behind Todd Hayes. Wow. The Raiders came within an eyelash, or I should say the Mounties came within an eyelash of winning this game.
Face-off Massena zone. 21 seconds of power play. Jake Morris will draw against Tom Lothberg. The puck won by Massena. Chris Cameron Here comes Cameron busting by the defense. Cameron busts in. He gets hauled down. I can't believe they didn't call that. I mean, he just got hauled down. Jake steals the puck. Here comes Jake right in front, backhand. Nice save by Sarabona with 5 seconds left in the power play. I can't believe they didn't call a penalty. Chris Cameron got hauled down and no call.
If he can call a phantom roughing play up here, I cannot believe that. And this is not a hometown decision on my part either. I cannot believe he got just hauled down. Chris Cameron was going to be in free, just brute strength in from the defenseman, put the stick on him, could try to hook him, couldn't, wrapped him up, still no call, threw him to the ice, and then Jake Morris picked up the loose puck and walked in and got a backhander off, and Sarabona made a great save, or the Raiders would have put this one away. But no call on the play. I can't believe it. I agree with you, Jerry.
Jason Chilton takes the face-off. Puck goes in the corner. In behind the net. And Massena gets the man back as it comes out to center ice. Into the Massena zone. Here's the shot. They score! Suffern scores on a shot from the blue line. And Suffern wins the state championship. And you know, Massena had just killed the penalty off, and Suffern comes down and scores.
This place is going absolutely wild. Just a mob of players on the ice at the back end, and I think it was John Stevens, if I'm not mistaken, number 12, that took the shot, and Joey concurs. He's got it down. John Stevens let a bullet go from just inside the blue line, and it was a screamer, and partially screened. Todd Hayes was partially screened on it. And this place is just bedlam. The Suffern Mounties have pulled what you might describe the big upset out here, and I have to give them full marks. They just hung tough. They had a great game plan. They almost won it earlier in overtime, but again, back on the other hand, the Raiders could have very easily won it, and I think there was a call down here that wasn't made, that should have been made. They hauled down Chris Cameron, but needless to say, that's not sour grapes, but there are calls on both sides. But the Mounties came up. John Stevens and a pass from, again, Danny White, that little nemesis. Stevens took the pass at the neutral zone and came full flight, just crossed the blue line, and he really cut loose a bullet. And the Raider defenseman used it as a screen, and Todd Hayes just did not, I don't think he saw it to the last second. And Coach John Orlando and the Suffern Mounties are the New York State Division I champions, and they're out there. It's a well-deserved victory for the Mounties. They came in here, big underdogs, had a game plan, stuck with it. The Raiders played well. The Raiders played well enough to win any game, and they looked like they had it won with 30 seconds to go. But full marks to the Mounties, Jerry.
Yeah, it was a tough loss for Massena. It's been a great year for the Red Raiders, and they'll end up the year ranked number 2 in Division I in New York State. But after the big win yesterday, this is the one they had to win the state championship, and they just fell a little bit short. The overtime victory going to the Suffern Mounties, and again, this could have gone either way. Massena picking up a penalty in the overtime, and then on an apparent penalty, no call, as Chris Cameron got hauled down from behind, and so that's the way it goes. And
Robert Stevens was the culprit as far as the Raiders are concerned, Jerry. He got both goals. The guy that did some double shift, played left wing on the first unit and on defense, and he possesses a real tough shot. He got the tying goal at the 14:30 mark when the Raiders were just seconds away from victory, and they snatched from the hands of victory. The Mounties were able to snatch it away and tied it at the 14:30 mark, and then 2:05 into the overtime. Is that right, Joey? The 2:05 into overtime, the winning goal was scored. Just prior to that, the Massena Mounties almost scored. A great save down there by Todd Hayes and Bobby Whitcomb combined in big melee. Went the other way after the face-off, and Chris Cameron, great individual effort, bowled his way by the defense, and he was actually hog-tied, lassoed, and everything, but no call. Got the shot was directed at Sarabona, made the save, Jake Morris picked up the rebound and walked in at a tough angle, got the backhand off, and Sarabona made a great save. And after that, another face-off, and we recapped that the Mounties cleared the zone, hit Stevens on the fly, and he was just wanted to direct it at the net. And it was a screamer, about I'd say a 50-footer through traffic. The Raider defenseman partial screen, but Todd just lost it, had no chance on it.
And now the awards going to both members of the teams. And, well, the season's over, David, and we're going to wrap this up with our post-game show. Again, the final score, Suffern defeating Massena 4-3 in overtime. Stay tuned for the post-game show.
Number 5, Ken Smith. Number 6, forward, Mike Hewlett. Cameron must have that right. Chris Miller. Across the blue line, in the zone. 3, forward, the net. Collins goes to check. The bouncing puck up to Cameron. Number Cameron. Number 10, forward, Trevor Brown. Number 11, forward, Mark Tyler.
This is what was announced, but it doesn't matter.
12,
We'll use these.
14, defenseman Todd Collins. Number 15, forward, Todd Whitlock.
We'll just talk about them. We're not going to play anything back, okay? Right? Is that what we're going to do? That's what we're going to do.
Number 17, captain, forward, Jake Morris. Number 18, defenseman Todd Manning. Number 19, forward, Ed Davis. Number 20, forward, assistant captain, Chris Cameron. Number 21, goaltender, Doug Collins. Number 22, assistant captain, defenseman, Jason Lamar. Number 23, forward, Adam Morris. Assistant coach, Tim Long. Senior New York State coach, another big man for Stan Moore, makes our coach of Massena. This time, I'd like to give the captains, Coach Moore and Coach Long, be out here in the presentation. The runner-up flag, 3 from the New York State Public High School Athletic Association office.
Welcome back to the Utica Memorial Auditorium. A disappointing end of the season for the Massena Red Raiders. And they come up short, 1 goal short, an overtime goal by Robert Stevens, the difference in this game. And the Suffern Mounties have won the Division I New York State Championship. And, you know, it's one of those, it's a tough loss to stomach from Massena.
It is for anyone in this situation. No question, if these teams played 10 times, probably the Raiders would come out maybe with 6 and Suffern 4. The Raiders played a good game today. They played a strong game. Didn't have the intensity as yesterday, but that was impossible to sustain. But they controlled as far as the territorial edge, but I think Suffern controlled the tempo, and the longer it stayed tied or they were down by 1, it was to their advantage, and that's the way it went throughout the game. We were tied at 1-1 at the end of 1, and then we were tied 2-2 at the end of 2. Massena got the go-ahead goal, 7:32 mark, 22 mark of the third period. Looked like, and Suffern was skating in sand. They were out of gas, literally out of gas. Massena had control, but with 30 seconds left to go, and good teams do this, and you give full marks to Suffern. They were able to reach down, deep down, and find something. Coach John Orlando and his club, and they were able to find that little something extra. They tied it up with 30 seconds left to go. John Stevens, a melee in the corner. Todd Hayes had made a great save. And Raiders weren't able to clear it. It was thrown out in front, and John Stevens was there, and he tied that game up with a wrist shot high up over Todd Hayes, and that's the way we stood. In the overtime, both teams had a glorious opportunity. First Suffern down here, Todd Hayes make the great save, went back the other way, and Robert Sarabona made a great save off of Captain Jake Morris. And face-off to the left of Sarabona, and Suffern controlled it. It came up, pass from Danny White made the pass to Robert Stevens again, and he was just directing it towards the net, wanted to put it on and take it from there. But it was a good scorcher, and it was partially screened. The Raider defenseman partially screened. Todd Hayes didn't see it till late, and it beat him on the glove side. This place just went absolutely wild. And understandable so. The Suffern Mounties were able to climb not only a small mountain, but they climbed one of the biggest mountains in the Himalayas today, because I truly felt that they would not be able to withstand the Raiders here today. We said at the top of the show that they would have to get some outstanding goaltending, which they did. They'd have to play one of their best games of the year, which I'm sure they did, and they'd have to catch a break.
Which they did.
They did. But that's full marks to them, and nothing against the Raiders. They played a super game. It's just too bad. You and I are partial. There's no question. We're hoping, with all our hearts that the Raiders could bring the Division I championship back to the North Country like the Shamrocks did. But that's what high school sports is all about. It makes it so great. And plus, there are no losers out here, but I know how Coach Stanmore and Tim Long feel, and those 21 outstanding hockey players, just really gut-wrenching. But we talked about it in the first game with youth. It subsides a lot quicker than it does with age. I'm sure that the parents and the coaching staff will feel a little tougher. But again, Suffern were able to sustain. They played their game plan in full marks to the Mounties, and they're going to be division champions, and they just played the game of their life.
Boy, they sure did. And of course, that means a short ride back to Suffern, but a long